Carl Jobst has reignited a 12-year-old drama talking about the 115 game that Syndicate released at over 15 million views. And because I've known Syndicate and have made some videos with him in the past, I would love to talk about this and see what new drama has been unsolved, because I've seen the Krups video, I've seen so many people talk about this, and I would like to see how Carl, this man with almost 1 million subscribers, can break down how Syndicate faked the 115 record. And honestly, if you guys would like, comment down below if you would like to see a talk where I can bring on Syndicate and we can actually talk about why the 115 run is or is not cheated. I think that would be incredible. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this. Shout out to Carl.
But one of the games that really helped Syndicate pop off in the beginning was Black Ops Zombies.
Of course.
Syndicate uploaded Black Ops Zombies videos of all different types, but one that did really well and one that he was most well known for was a series of videos released in late 2011. This series chronicled Syndicate's game on the first map, Kino der Toten, the game where he reached all the way to round 116, which was a world record at the time. This run garnered massive attention, with the final video amassing over 14 million views, and is his—
I was literally 13 years old when this video came out, so this was literally half of my life ago now. And I still think of this as one of the most iconic Call of Duty Zombie videos ever. If you have played Call of Duty Zombies, you've seen this video. Let me tell you.
The video of all time.
Yes.
This video is responsible for many people getting interested in zombies, and was an amazing accomplishment when it happened.
Right here.
The only issue with this run, however, is that it's fake. Syndicate used commands to cheat his way through this run, and
Why is Bro on 71? What's going on there?
acted as if it was legitimate. This would go unnoticed for a full 10 years, until Who Needs Jug uploaded a video explaining why he thought the run was—
And yeah, we've actually seen Who Needs Jug speedruns, and so it's interesting because we have a lot of the perspective of the COD Zombie speedrunning community, and also myself, in terms of like how you need to submit world records now. And obviously back then, there was no ZWR website, there was no leaderboard website for zombies. The way you have to submit leaderboards, you have to show all of the gameplay. Back then, bro, you could barely even live stream 12 years ago, let alone record hundreds of hours of footage. I mean, it wasn't hundreds of hours, but it was still tons of footage.
Was fake. Once the first video dropped, more videos were released with even more evidence, essentially making this one a done deal. However, despite this, Syndicate defenders—
And it was proved, like, I think people thought it was legitimate for quite some time. I mean, I've seen all the videos debunking it. I would like to give it a fresh chance. And again, I don't want to come in extremely biased and take down Syndicate here, because I would personally also love him to come down and actually explain what he remembers about the game. Again, this is 12 years ago, so this is like, who cares? But like, it's still interesting. I mean, because this video started COD Zombies, and if it is fake, it's kind of like interesting in that regard, you know?
Still cling on to hope and refuse to accept that Syndicate just might be capable of lying. And even Syndicate himself, when pressed on this issue, wouldn't admit it, and still claims to this day it's legit.
Yeah, I also did get messages from Tom when I tweeted about it, and he posted a lot of different messages, and I'll actually show that when I have like an interview with him, because I would love to talk to him. I know my man is not interested in current day zombies at all. I mean, like most of the COD Zombies community, but I mean, yeah, man, it is just so wild to see that this is the only drama in Call of Duty Zombies.
This video, I will take you through some of the evidence
and
explain why I believe Syndicate lied and cheated his way through the most famous zombies record of all time. I really hope you enjoy.
And I want to break these down. Like, I want to see if they're legitimate.
Legends. In this video, I've partnered with Displate, who offers sleek metal posters that look—
Shout out to Displate. I am also going to keep the sponsors for the people's videos inside, because I know these guys want to promote it. So definitely go check out Displate. I've been sponsored by them as well. They've literally made the posters that you see all behind me. They're incredible. They have so many great ones.
Passionate about
he's got them too.
Cherish something. posters
Shout
are
out
a
to Carl.
fantastic thing to
Yes,
have. Personally,
100%.
I am a gigantic nerd, and video games are my greatest passion.
They have
so I like to
every
surround
single
myself with
game,
them,
bro.
and when I
Shout
have
out to
posters of my
Displate.
favorite games on my walls, I can feel
Yes.
the positive energy. Displate works.
And they actually look good. They're not like garbage quality. Like I've had this Cold War one now for about 3-4 years, and it still looks like day one.
with the
Like,
biggest brands in media, including all of your
perfect.
favorite game,
Yeah.
film, and TV franchises.
No,
I mean, if you just
definitely
browse
check
these
them out.
designs, you can immediately tell they look fantastic. If you are
100%.
curious about some of my favorites, I've created a few collections for you to check out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them, I believe, are also fan submitted, like fan made, I should say, and that is sick too. I mean, some of them are also just like straight up images, but I mean, if you want a poster, these are great, man.
You can see if you have the same taste as me. Display's metal design looks good and is super easy to install.
Super
Plus, with the
easy,
magnet
bro.
mounting system, you
Yeah.
can quickly swap and change
I have a problem with my posters that Call of Duty sent me from the actual BO3 zombie maps on this side of my wall where they keep peeling off. And, I mean, Call of Duty, come on. Just
displays anytime.
get on the display
Displays are
level,
very
bro.
affordable and are delivered anywhere in
Yeah.
only 4 to 5
Best
days.
poster
Display is also
website,
helping to
I
spread
would
the
say.
Christmas cheer with a really great offer.
33?
Just click my link or use my discount code Carl.
Sheesh, I didn't get that much display. Dang, I'm on 33.
And you'll receive up to 33% off.
Dang.
We hope you have an amazing holiday, and if you want to get something nice for yourself
Oh,
or
that's
someone else,
crazy.
just click the link
Well,
in the
man, shout out
description
to
and
Carl,
grab
bro.
yourself a Displate.
For real.
Over a span of 2 weeks beginning in late October 2011, Syndicate released 11 videos showcasing highlights of his run up to round.
And yeah, again, today, this would never be accepted because if you want to show full gameplay, you show every single second now. You don't just show like 2-minute snippets. And so for that reason, a lot of people were thinking, yeah, this could be fake. And I get that, but like, again, like I said, archiving footage 12 years ago was a nightmare.
Round 116
Especially online.
on the Black Ops Zombies first map, Kino der Toten. Needless to say, these videos don't show the entire run, which
course.
wasn't a requirement until recently, as
Yeah.
getting up to rounds this high takes tens of hours, and especially back then, asking someone to upload the full run was unreasonable. If anything, the amount of footage Syndicate did upload was more...
Like, you don't understand why he's saying unreasonable. Unreasonable is like, you're sitting there for like 7 days to upload like 1 hour of Kino der Toten footage from you getting to like round 1 to round 14, my guy. Like, what?
more than most.
The internet was
which
terrible
ultimately
back
helps us
then.
to analyze it to check for inconsistencies. The first video he uploaded was during round 68. This video is only
Okay.
a minute long, and just shows him reaching round 69. There
Yeah.
really isn't much to it. The title indicates that this is just a sneak peek, indicating that it's a preview of something greater to come, which I want you to keep in mind. In the description, Syndicate explains why he doesn't have the Mule Kick perk. There are 5 perks available on this map, and you can hold up to 4 at any one time. Mule Kick is a perk that lets you hold 3 weapons. However, when you die, you lose all of your perks, including the weapon that was in your 3rd weapon slot. In this case, Syndicate was holding the Thunder Gun in this slot, which is the best gun and the one he was relying on to get through rounds. Another perk is called Quick Revive, which you can get 3 times. Quick Revive is self-explanatory. When you die, you revive. However, without your perks, as I just mentioned. So Syndicate is explaining that at some point he died, was forced to revive, and chose not to use Mule Kick again in case he lost the Thunder Gun again. This description is really important, because in the next video, uploaded on the very same day, now on round 71, Syndicate repeats this explanation. And just to avoid confusion, the word down is referring to a
Why does it have to be 71, man? This number is cursed, bro.
death. So saying that you had a down is just another way of saying that you were killed.
Because I've just been really avoiding stupid downs, but the only stupid down I've had was at round 27, and that's when I had Mule Kick. Now everyone's been like, why no Mule Kick? And the reason for no Mule Kick is simply because I had it, but I got the Mule Kick and then I got the Thunder Gun. So the Thunder Gun was...
So, okay, keep in mind, this strategy also has evolved dramatically over the last 12 years. Like, you don't even run the Kino stage anymore. The fastest strategy on Kino now is the Fire Trap strat, which is inside of this area to the right of Juggernog here in this room. You just spam the traps and use the traps, and that way you don't ever spawn in the creepy crawlers. And again, you spawn them in once you turn on the power and go back to certain areas where perks are, like Quick Revive. And so it's interesting to me that his chat was making a big deal about having Mule Kick, right? And Mule Kick is not even a part of that freaking strategy as all. And same thing with double tap. Double tap is completely useless. And so I find it so interesting that he's making such a big emphasis on something that just genuinely doesn't really matter in general.
Was it
right?
my mule kick slot, which is an absolutely idiotic move. I just completely forgot about losing it. I just didn't think I'd go down, to be honest. I got a bit overconfident.
So clearly these two videos are supposed to be the same game. Both videos don't have mule kick, they have all of the perks in the same order, both videos feature the
Like, that's what I'm saying. What is the point of even bringing this up?
exact same explanation as to why, and both videos are uploaded literally on the same day. And not only that, Syndicate is responding to comments on the Round 68 video and is explaining it as if it were the same game.
But the only stupid down I've had was at round 27, and that's when I had mule kick. Now everyone's been like, why no mule kick?
However,
so here's another thing that I should say. Whenever you show your scoreboard on Call of Duty Zombies, it basically shows all the information. Even on Black Ops 1. Let's say, for example, he was loaded up like with a mod or something. He would never show his scoreboard because the mod would literally show up on the top right. It also depends because he probably is playing Xbox 360 here, and there were JTAGs back then, so maybe it wouldn't have shown up on the top right. But I know the scoreboard is always telling the truth all the time. It will tell you the right amount of points. It will tell you the right amount of kills and downs and everything. And so again, him not just showing the scoreboard, because whenever people are asking me, like, am I playing the game? Are you actually playing? Is this actually you? I'm like, okay, let me show my mod menu as a joke, and then I show the scoreboard, right? And so if I was Syndicate, like, screw talking about mule kick, just show the dang scoreboard. And then if it's truly legit, then nobody has to worry about it, right?
we know for a fact these are two completely different games.
Okay, and he is showing the scoreboard. So, like, the fact that he's literally...
Why no mule kick?
However, we know for a fact these are two completely different.
The fact that he's literally pulling this up, to me, makes it seem more believable. Do keep in mind, BO1 scoreboard is very not telling because it didn't show as much of the stats as, like, newer Call of Duties. Like, it only shows headshots, kills, and points. It doesn't show downs, and that's the biggest issue. If it showed downs, then we would be able to tell if this is legitimate or not, because you only get 3 quick revives on a solo BO1 game, right? And so maybe he spawned in another quick revive. I don't know. Like, you can do that very easily with mods, so...
different games that have been spliced together. Every time you start up a new game, you are randomly assigned one of 4
different characters, right?
And we can tell which character you are by either your speech or your hand model. Syndicate had his character speech turned off, but we can still see his hands to know exactly which character he is playing. On his Round 68 video, we can see that he is playing as the character Nikolai. But in the very next video, Round 71, he's now playing as Takeo.
See, this was the biggest thing I think that people were hung up about, is the character change. Because yes, there is no way to change your character ever mid-game in any Call of Duty Zombies game. Unless you're playing, like, operators. Okay, that doesn't count. This is back when the crew was actually here. And yeah, the only way you would be able to ever get Takeo is if you fully played another game. And so that's what's a little bit weird. Why did he not just say he was playing a different game? Also, like, if this is a different game, just say that you downed. Like, I upload all my failed attempts on round 100 all the time because I think they're interesting. It shows like the progression of how you get there, you know?
Important to note that it's impossible to change characters mid-run.
Exactly.
So these videos are definitely from completely different games.
Yeah.
When confronted with this, Syndicate's excuse is quite frankly amazing. According to Syndicate, sometime after he uploaded his Round 68 video, his game crashed, so he had to start a brand new game. Then, when he got back past his previous run, he pretended it was the same run. He did this for
I mean, I understand that, but I think it would be more, like, beneficial if you just said, yeah, I just died, or something just happened. You know, like, I had ExpressVPN crash my game yesterday on Transit, and people were freaking hilarious. They were dying about that. But yet again, maybe, here's what I'm thinking. Maybe he just skipped forward a couple rounds and went to, like, round 69 and then just started there.
literally no reason,
I don't know.
and didn't even mention it at the time. Despite legitimately getting up to the same round again, he felt the need to lie and tell the same story about being downed and losing Mule Kick. Even though, as we'll discuss later, this didn't even apply.
Like that's what I mean. It's so unnecessary. That's why I don't get why he would even like say that
to his current game. It doesn't make any logical sense, and quite frankly, it's basically impossible for this story to be true. As I mentioned before, both of these videos were uploaded on the same day, and not only that, even more videos after.
Yeah, I don't get why he's explaining to his comments why he doesn't have Mule Kick. I think back then when Mule Kick released, it was like, oh, 3 guns, you're instantly going to get better rounds, but not always.
Woods was still on the very same day, all the way up to round 81. In order to reach rounds this high, it takes many hours. On his round 68 video, he explains it took him 6 hours to get there. So in order for his story to be true, this is what would have needed to have happened. He played for 6 hours to reach round 69, then he stopped playing to upload that video. Then he continued playing for some unspecified amount of time until his game crashed. After that, he uploaded a Minecraft video before starting a brand new game of zombies. Then,
bro, back then the gaming was different, bro. You could just upload raw gameplay. What a time, man.
He got up to round 81 again and uploaded all of those videos within that same day.
Okay, well, okay. Again, keep in mind, it doesn't have to also always be recorded on the same day. Even 12 years ago, you could schedule videos on youtube.com. And so, like, I think that, like, it is a little bit unfair to assume that all of that footage was recorded in the same day. To me, I think that's absurd. Especially because, like, getting to round 80 twice in one day will probably take you 12 hours.
However, getting to round 81
at
would
minimum
take many hours.
Yeah.
In fact, in his description on his round 81 video, he says he'd already put 30 hours into that game. And another crazy thing about this new game was the amount of points he had, which was around 500,000 by...
So here's the other thing. Points back then, you could get 1 million really fast. It's just the issue is that it would be hard to tell how many eliminations you have because you could just spam an MP5 into zombies that just don't die and get infinite amount of points. So points is not really the biggest deal for me personally. I think the biggest deal is more so, what is the whole big issue with Mule Kick and why is there like this like massive discrepancy? Also, 30 hours into a game, I can also kind of believe that because he is running a slower strategy than the world record. The world record strat to round 100 on Kino, I'm pretty sure you can do in 8 hours. But that's Fire Trap strat. He is doing the Kino stage hoarding strat. And so that makes me wonder, did he really put in 30 hours? Because 30 hours... I mean, he did get to 115, and those last 15 rounds are nightmarishly long. So I can get that,
round 71. And in the round 68 video, he only had a bit over 200,000.
Right.
So it wasn't just that he had to get to a much higher round, he had to get more than double the amount of points, which would have taken many more hours to do. Basically, there's only so many hours in a day. And even
the thing is, though, is that, like, again, you can get points fast on BO1, man. It's not that difficult. Like, I've literally seen a video of Syndicate grabbing the MP5 in Ascension. I literally remember after Kino dropped with the new map Ascension, and he would literally get the max points with the MP5. And so it's not, the 495,000 points isn't that big of a deal. Honestly, you're going to get that many points regardless, especially if you're not spamming traps like he was. So at least from what I can see from my own personal experience, even high rounding this map, from what I can tell, it just makes sense. I think the only discrepancy literally is just the Takeo Nikolai character thing.
Even if Syndicate did use a time machine to grind 36 hours in a single day, you'd think this would...
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I think... No. Like, again, you can record gameplay before the same day.
Be something he would
It's not
mention,
that
and you would think that a
crazy.
game crashing 6 hours in would also be something he would mention too.
Yeah.
Apparently he is just pretending these two games are the same game for absolutely no reason. Ultimately, he is just lying about what happened. All of
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to assume that he's lying, because like I said, you can record before the same day. Like, that's what everybody was doing back then, bro. There was no live streaming back in the day. Like, 12 years ago, live stream was barely a thing, bro. Barely a thing. And so, yeah, it's cool that, like, yes, Syndicate was one of the first to get to 1 million on Twitch and stuff. But, like, you have to keep in mind, this was way before even then. you know?
These videos were already recorded by the time he uploaded his very first one, and they were all supposed to be the same game. In round 81, he dies for the second time, and we know it's for the second time because he says it is.
No! No! Oh my god.
That's a rough down. Also, that turret trap on round 81 will do absolutely nothing. Do keep in mind, though, he probably doesn't know that because we were all smart children back then.
You have got to be shitting me.
Immediately after reviving, he goes to buy the Quick Revive perk again.
Right.
However, at this point in time, the Quick Revive should disappear, because you can only buy Quick Revive three
times. Okay, so then, is this the new game then? Right, because, okay, he could say that that was his second down, right? And then you could buy the second Quick Revive. But yeah, it should disappear. That is true. That's true.
3 times. You
That's
buy
true.
it immediately upon starting
I think maybe he's just on a new game, and that's what he was saying before.
the game,
But I don't know.
immediately after your first death, and then once more immediately after your second death. At which time it takes off, and you can't buy
goes
it
away.
again. However,
And it's a very pronounced sound. Like, you would have been able to hear it in the recording, for sure.
after dying for the second time, and buying Quick Revive for the third time, it remains, and we can see it's still there a bit later on. Because Syndicate has spliced 2 runs together, he has ended up with more Quick Revives than what should be possible.
Right.
The YouTuber Russian, who made a video about Syndicate's run, and believes he didn't cheat, says that Syndicate simply misspoke when saying this was his second death, and it was really supposed to be his first.
And this is when on round 81, after taking it down, he says, and I quote, "That's my second down," and when he buys a Quick Revive again, the machine doesn't disappear. A lot of people see that as clear evidence of him modding in some way, shape, or form.
Well, okay. Again, that could be... It could mean a number of different myriad of things. It could mean, again, that he's on another game, and that's his second down. It could mean that it's his second down across 2 games. Again, it's hard to say, especially because, like I said, this is 12 years old. It's like we're doing a court case on something that happened 12 years ago, man. Like, it's just so bizarre, you
But
know?
I think what happened here is that he's live commentating on his best round ever after taking it down, and he most likely misspoke. It happens to me when I've got a script right in front of me, so it definitely happens to Tom when you add in all these other factors.
However, this completely ignores the fact that on round 71, Syndicate went on an entire rant and told a very specific story about how he definitely died earlier in the run.
71 is just cursed. It's a cursed number. This confirms it. I mean, this video is
Even
proof.
giving the exact round it happened, which is
Right.
why he didn't have the Mule Kick perk.
But the only stupid down I've had was at round
27.
and that's when I had Mule Kick. Now everyone's been like, why no Mule Kick? And the reason for no Mule Kick is simply because I had it, but I got the Mule Kick.
And he's explaining this on 71 before the 69 crash. Oh, no. Okay, so this is where I can see evidence against Tom. However, though, I don't know.
Then I got the Thunder Gun. So the Thunder Gun was in my Mule Kick slot, which is an absolutely idiotic move. I just completely forgot about losing it. I just didn't think I'd go down, to be honest. I got a bit overconfident. No! No!
So, okay. My guess is this could even be a third game. Because, yeah, if the Quick Revive didn't go down, didn't go away, then that means that he still has 2 Quick Revives left. And so that also means that maybe this is just a third game. And so I think potentially what may have happened is maybe he died on certain games and just sort of restarted and maybe put himself on a certain round. I don't know. But to me, that makes the most sense, especially with the timelining of the uploads. But
Oh my god, my second down.
I don't know.
You have got to be shitting me.
I'm sorry, but creating an elaborate fairy tale explaining very specific details that apply to this exact run, and then corroborating that fairy tale later on by saying that you have indeed died twice isn't misspeaking. That's just called lying. One interesting thing some people say is that maybe he just...
Well, I agree. It's definitely lying because he's not speaking the whole truth. It's not like he's like saying something that's blatantly false. It's that he's not saying that he was on another game, right? And I know back in the day, it was much more like, bro, look at me, I'm the best COD Zombies player, like blah, 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 whatever. But it's just like, I think it's definitely better to be as genuine as you can. But then again, bro, back then, it's like, nobody was even really using Twitter You know, and it's just like, what, like, how could he have explained himself? So like I said, I do feel bad for Tom because we're attacking him on a video that's 12 years old. All right. And while, yes, there is a lot of damning evidence, I, again, would love to actually, like, have a talk with him as to, like, what potentially happened with this run.
Just modded his way back to round 71 because his game crashed.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. Because that's, to me, what makes the most logical sense, especially if he was able to do all those uploads on the same day. Like, there is no way, I'm just saying this right now, no way you can get to round 80 3 times or even barely 2 times in one day. No way. Especially if he did that Minecraft upload in between, I don't know.
But other than that, it's legit. Even
unless it was recorded prior, right?
Russian, and I'm sorry to pick on him once again, says, I think he modded back to 71, but the rest was legit. However, this is just flat out wrong. Even if the rules stated you were allowed to cheat your way back to round 71, which they don't, in Syndicate's case, he ended up giving himself an extra life. He died once on his way to...
That's true, that's true. And so that's the other thing. Maybe it is the same game, but somehow he got the quick revive machine to give an extra slot. Again, I never use Xbox 360 JTagging, so I don't know the exact, like, intricacies of how this worked. But, like, I remember there were a bunch of old videos being uploaded on YouTube back in 2011 of, like, showing the highest round possible and the max points possible. And those videos were for sure fake. But it's just, like, for someone to, like, try and fake it, but then actually pretend it's real, to me, is just so interesting.
Round 69,
you know?
Confirmed by his description and commentary, he died once again in round 81, which we can see on video. Then at some point between rounds 85 and 98, he is downed for a 3rd time. We know this because his perk order changes, and also quick revive...
Oh, yeah, okay, that perk order change is also a huge deal, because you can't ever do that unless you down.
I've disappeared.
So that then confirms that he downed again. And then, yeah, the quick revive machine isn't there now on 98. And so he did it. So potentially it is the same game. He might have just given himself an extra quick revive somehow.
Is indicating that he bought it once again.
Then
between rounds 105 and 110, he dies for a 4th time. And we can tell because he completely loses his quick revive.
Yeah, and then this is where he's out of quick revives. It's only... the
5 perk. So in total, he gets 1 extra quick revive and therefore 1 full extra life. Normally, you can only revive...
The thing is, though, you might be wondering, why is he running a Spectre on round 110? This gun's terrible. Well, again, the only high round strategy people knew back then was to cycle the box for the Thunder Gun. And, I mean, that's exactly what Tom's doing. So, again, a lot of it seems legit. I would love to have a talk with Tom to, like, see, first off, how many games there are. Did he die and come back to a certain round on one of those games? And then how did he change characters? I think those are like the 3 questions. If we get those answered, we can truly figure out if it's legit or not, I think.
3 times, but in this game, he revives 4 times. It really doesn't matter how you spin it, he cheated. A reasonable theory to have is that Syndicate did legitimately get to round 69 before either dying or his game crashed. The end of the legitimate game is probably the footage he uploaded first. Beyond that, he decided to cheat by modding his way.
So maybe it was going to be a round 69 game that he was uploading. That's curious. I mean, that's an interesting point to bring up too.
Through to the later rounds. And there is substantial circumstantial evidence to support this theory. Mind you, this circumstantial evidence doesn't prove he cheated. We have already done that. All this extra evidence does is try to explain how he cheated.
Yeah.
The first piece of evidence is that in his later rounds, it shows that he has not purchased any of the wall weapons that are normally purchased at the very early stage.
And that is a big point. I mean, back in the day, I do remember watching Allier and Syndicate. They would almost always at least buy the M14. Or unless they were doing a pistol knife only challenge, you know? But again, it's not unbelievably uncommon to not buy the starting room wall weapons, so...
Stages. When you begin the game, you only have a pistol.
I'm trying to give 2 sides. Like, I'm not on one side, I'm not on the other side. Like, I'm just trying to give points to each, and then conclusively at the end, maybe see if I can give an answer.
And generally, one of the first things you do is buy a better weapon off the wall in the starting room.
Of course.
Or in an adjacent room. You can tell if a weapon has been purchased before because it will pop out of the wall. In Syndicate's later rounds, he hasn't done this, which makes sense if he just skipped the early rounds.
And those wall weapons would be there for the rest of the game. And so that, like, yes, this is a good piece of evidence to say maybe he just skipped a round after the round 69 game and played a second game. That to me is more likely, from what I can see in terms of all the evidence, probably what ended up happening. But yeah, unfortunately, in terms of today's standards, that's considered cheating. I mean, even back then, I guess it was, but people just didn't know, you know?
Starting weapons are essentially useless later on, so if you do skip the early rounds, it makes sense they are never bought again.
Yeah.
When Who Needs Jug brought this up in his original Exposed video, people claimed this isn't suspicious because they themselves don't buy these starting guns.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not entirely uncommon. It happens. I mean, I do it all the time, pretty much. You want to go buy the frickin' box. You don't want to go buy the M14G.
Which might be a reasonable defense. However, we know this isn't the case with Syndicate. In his round 68 video, we actually do see one of these starting room guns.
Okay, so then that confirms that his second game is 100% different, which, I mean, also makes sense because he's Nikolai in the first game, Takeo in the second game.
And we can clearly see that it had been purchased.
Right.
So purchasing this starting weapon was part of his strategy.
Right.
It makes absolutely no sense for it not to have been purchased when we see it in his later round.
That's true. That's true. And I think, like, it just also sucks because, like, we probably will never know if his second game is legit. Did he go from round 1 to 69 all the way? I don't know because we don't have the footage, number one. And then number two, there is evidence against that, right? But then also, it's just like, it's not even that big of a deal because I guess in a way he did prove that he could go from round 1 to 69 and then 69 to 115, but maybe not 1 to 115, you know?
Unless, of course, he skipped the early rounds completely. Right. Another interesting tidbit is about the Thunder Gun, which is one of the most powerful guns and the gun that Syndicate relied upon for his strategy. You get the Thunder Gun by opening the mystery box, but there is only a small chance of acquiring it every attempt. And every time you open the box,
a 130 chance, pretty much.
It costs 950 points.
Yeah.
One of the videos in Syndicate's series is called The Most Expensive Thunder Gun Ever, 300,000 points, meaning that he opened the mystery box hundreds of times to get the gun once. And Syndicate starts recording again just after he gets it during round 76.
Ladies and gentlemen, 350,000 points?
Well, okay, so this is the thing. It's not that uncommon to have this many points on this round, especially because you're buying the box, you're unloading all the ammo from the weapons into the zombies, and then you're hitting the box again. So, to me, it's not... The points is not the big issue.
And the Thunder Gun. Oh yeah, baby,
right.
Back in the game.
Notice that he has 2 ammo in his magazine and 10 ammo in reserve. When
Right.
you pick up the Thunder Gun from the mystery box, you always have 2 bullets in your magazine and 12 in reserve, which you see when he gets the Thunder Gun during round 84.
Right.
However, when you just give yourself a Thunder Gun via commands, you have 2 ammo in your magazine and 10 in reserve.
Oh... But, I mean, okay... Like, while I do think this does make a lot of sense. I mean, could he have theoretically shot the first 2 shots? I mean, I guess, you know? I mean, that's true.
Reserve. So there are 2 possible scenarios here.
The thing is, I know BO1 commands, and he could have just done / full ammo and gotten 2 and 12, you know? So while I guess this is a point, it's not evidence. It's not hard evidence for sure.
The first is that Syndicate finally picked up the Thunder Gun, then waited some undisclosed amount of time, during which he happened to fire exactly 2 bullets, then started recording and acted excited about just picking up the Thunder Gun. Or he just gave himself a Thunder Gun.
Well, again, do keep in mind, on round 76, to play the devil's advocate here, you're literally... Okay, I probably shouldn't say devil's advocate because I'm a Christian, but either way, I think basically, like, the Thunder Gun's the only thing that does damage. I don't think Syndicate at this point knew how efficient the traps were, especially the fire trap and the electric trap he's in front of right now. And so it's just like, to assume that he uses 2 shots on 76 to me is just almost common sense, but I get the point of him spawning the Thunder Gun and you only have 12 bullets total. I get it.
With commands. Another interesting thing to note about the Thunder Gun is that ammo is very scarce, and Syndicate acknowledges this multiple times throughout his run, stressing how important it is that he needs to try and kill 24 zombies with each shot.
I mean, a full horde, yeah.
I'm gonna hopefully try and get this round destroyed with this Thunder Gun. I've got to try and take out like all 24 with it each time.
But then he goes,
and he is using the trap slightly, but obviously it's not an efficient strat because he's running around half the map. Not like he's going through the stage like the world record.
ahead and uses the Thunder Gun to kill only 1 or 2 zombies at a time. And he does this many times throughout his run. He simply doesn't care about conserving ammo, which doesn't seem to make sense.
I mean, for max ammo rounds, it's a little bit of a different scenario.
However, again, this is clearly not a big concern if he is just giving himself Thunder Guns. There is also a ton of evidence.
I don't think he's giving himself Thunder Guns because of how many points he already has. Because, okay, I have gone to round 100, or I've at least tried to do it on BO1 Kino. And when you're spending points on traps and stuff, you usually have way less points than this. And that's why, to me, it's believable that he is doing the mystery box swap strat where you're literally swapping weapons and spamming all the ammo in the zombies and then trying to get Thunder Gun. His points are telling of that, you know? So I do think I believe him on that.
Centered around his gameplay and decision making, which basically boils down to he's not good and he has no idea what he's doing. Though I'm not a zombies player, so I can't really comment. If you want to know more about Syndicate's bizarre gameplay choices, you can watch videos by Who Needs Jug.
I've seen both of these videos, and while I do think their points are like very good, again, there's also like things in the video that I feel like testify against their claims. And so again, the only real way I feel like we can truly get the truth is if we get Tom to actually talk about it. Tom, I would love to talk to you about it, bro. I think this would be so interesting considering like, at the end of the day, I personally just don't care. I mean, like, it's a 115 game from 12 years ago. But it's just interesting, you know? Because I think a lot of people love this video. And, I mean, this video didn't get me into high rounds probably until BL3, but it did have a lasting effect, you know?
Or Fleur. Ultimately, Syndicate's Zombies run is cheated. It consists of various different games spliced together, and he almost certainly used commands to give himself weapons.
I'm honestly still undecided. Like, I've given points to testify, I've given points against. Like, they're both even pretty much for me. I don't know. I still don't know.
Through rounds. He then recorded commentary where he lied multiple times about what happened during his game.
I do think that the hardest point of evidence, though, is the game swap. Like, the difference between the Nikolai and the Takio, like, that's the big thing. I agree. Why was that not cleared up?
Or believable. 9 years later, he was still lying about his cheated run and trying to profit from it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been 9 years. 9 years and probably like a week to the date that I got to round 115, aka the famous 116 run that I did in Call of Duty Zombies.
Okay, so if I look at the stats here, 28,000 kills, that's about right. You usually get 28,000 to 30,000 to get to 100. However, with the trap strat, trap eliminations do not count. And so that is where I can see, you know what, it's fair. We'll give those eliminations off to the trap because if you're doing fire trap strat, you're not getting near as much as this. The points, though, total, this also I can see. 3.6 million, that sounds about right. So, again, the stats, from what I can see, are legit, but I would totally love to have a conversation with Tom. I think that, like, we can guess all day, pretty much.
Way back in the day. Now, you might be like, oh, why? What's going on here? You're going to redo it? You're going to go back all that way? And the answer is, hell no, because that was one of the most insanely mind-numbing things I have ever done. However, there was a remastered version of...
I mean, true. Kino 115, it literally takes, like, probably 40 hours.
Kino to Tony
minimum.
In Black Ops 3. Chronicles. So I decided to pay homage 9 years later. We're going to get to round 115 again. Now, I know everyone's going to be like, you probably used the powerful gobblegums and all this and all that. And the answer is yes. Yes, I did. Because I didn't want to spend 3 days and my mind...
Gobblegum lovers, let's go!
Doing it again.
My gobblegum lovers!
When he was called out for cheating, he lied again and made up some brand new ridiculous story.
Wait, this is the same tweet that you showed, though.
I mean, come on. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal if Syndicate faked a run back in 2011 in order to grow his YouTube channel. He was young, and young people can do dumb things. But to keep the lie going for over a decade, even when he's much older and even when the proof is there, is pretty insane. I guess what I'm trying to say is just...
Like I said, I don't think we should attack Tom like this. Like, this is too aggressive. Let's just have a conversation. It's 12 years ago, bro. It's not like he literally committed a crime. Let's relax for a second, you know?
Admit it. I assumed after Syndicate was charged by the
and then like this is what I mean. Yeah, like listen, I get the hostility. I just personally would love to actually like hear what Tom has to say about it. Yes.
For deceptively promoting his CS:GO gambling website in 2017, that he may have learned his lesson and became a more honest person. But unfortunately, it seems like this isn't the case. I guess some people just don't change. A big thanks to Krups for helping me learn about Black Ops Zombies and Syndicate's run. Please go.
Yeah, again, a lot of the evidence I've seen is from Krups and also just now with Carl. But again, I don't know. Because it's just like, there's the proof is there, like I'm saying. But it's just like, it is, his explanation in a lot of regards does make a lot of sense. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you want, comment down below if you want to see an actual interview about this. This is an incredible video, Carl. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for coming out to the video. If you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in that next one, baby.